China has always been a great region where many creative comps has been invented there. In this video, we're going to talk about one specific comp that has been performing very well since months ago in the Chinese region. Why am I talking about it now? Well, we are free from the Kaisa supremacy, which leads to a more open meta with the first patch of the year. This patch also includes some interesting buff to the comp, and I believe now there will be much more room for Malzahar to dominate in every region, not just China this time. This comp heavily relies on your 3-star 3-cost units, and this will be mainly your win condition if you follow the comp that is displayed here. If you have a 3-star Malzahar with great items, then you are less reliant on Lux, and Malzahar will be your late game win condition. But if you struggle to build a good Malzahar, then Lux will be your late game win condition. It will be important for you to regularly scout to see whether you can chase the 3-star units or if you have to switch over Lux carry. The second win condition comes from the augments. If you have any augment or emblem that allows you to have more Arcanists, Enchanters or Socialite, then you have more chance to grab a first or second place. Depending on the meta, you will want to change the items for Malzahar. And actually, the way you want to play this Malzahar depends on your region and the meta of your region. The blue buff Hextech Gunblade Morello version coming from China is great if the fights are really long. While the Enchanters and Vex create infinite shielding and healing, your Malzahar will kill every unit little by little. Don't forget that the 3-star Malzahar can spread his damage over time much faster whenever he kills a target, so the Morello can spread kinda fast. It's really good against Emerdiga carry, Lux carry, Victor carry, and super weak against challengers. If you play in EU West, it's probably better to go for a more aggressive build with blue buff, Infinity Edge, and Jerry Gauntlet because the fights are short and Malzahar needs to kill units fast. This helps a lot against the challenger and Jin matchups, even though Lux is probably more efficient for these matchups. If you want to have this cheat sheet I personally made on your phone, you can find it on Tactor. The link will be in the description and you can have access to a lot of information for free. I already talked about the items just before, because the items can literally change the identity of your comp, but we haven't talked about the item priority, so we're going to talk a bit more about that. Vex has a slightly priority over Malzahar. It's often better to have the first item on Vex than on Malzahar. You can also check this tier list to see what she really likes to get. For Malzahar, you have two tier lists, one with a slow but fight scaling and the other one which is more efficient in fast-paced meta. The key is really to identify if you face a lot of challengers or not. For Lux, in case you decide to play Lux over Malzahar, you can just stuff with the same way. Keep in mind that there are two ways to optimize her: blue buff, Giant Gauntlet and Infinity Edge, or blue buff, Rabadon Death Cap and Giant Slayer. If you don't have these exact combos, then she might not easily one-shot targets. This comp is probably the only comp that can use chalices efficiently, because everyone would be happy with extra AP from this item that has been buffed. So if you have enough tiers and cloaks in order to make them, don't hesitate to make use of them. I personally like to go for this comp only if you have Yordles during stage 2. The reason is very simple, it costs on average 204 gold worth of rolls in order to find a 3-star 3-cost at level 7. So building a strong icon with Yordle is critical in order to find your 3-star Vex, Malzahar, Lulu and Taric. Unless you found the Vex or Malzahar, I would suggest you to play the Lost Trick strategy for the stage 2 to ramp up your icon even faster and pick the best components at the carousel rounds. You can follow one of these two leveling patterns based on your game. Use Poppy as a holder for Vex and Twisted Fate as a holder for Malzahar. Or you can also just not slam any item if you're really playing the Lost Trick strategy to make sure that you will lose the 5 first fights. No matter the strategy you apply during stage 2, you want to be level 6 at stage 3 too, and the amount of rolls you need to do depends on your previous strategy. If you play the Lost Trick strategy, it is critical to roll and stabilize your board. You have a good econ but you already lost a lot of health. Use this insane gold advantage to find 2-star units and at the very least 1 Vex and 1 Malzahar to make a good stage 3 board. It might happen that you will not hit after rolling down all your gold. It's very unlikely because you only need to spend 18 gold on average to find the 3-cost unit you want, but if that's the case, your solution is very simple.
Yep.
If you had a great stage 2 because you already had a good board, you might not have to roll at stage 3 too. You need to roll only if you have many pairs of units, but don't go too low with your econ, because you need to build it back. After the stage 3-2 rolls, what you need to do is very simple. You need to build up your econ back to 50 gold and buy all the Taric Vex, Malzahar and Lulu you naturally find because you will try to 3-star them and prepare yourself to push level 7 at stage 4-1. Alright, now you're level 7, you have different scenarios and each one are good depending on your situation and you need to make the right call here. For the first scenario, you are not contested and you had an insane stage 3 win streak, probably thanks to 2-star Vex or 2-star Malzahar and even 2-star Tariq. If that's the case, you can skip the level 7 and push level 8 at stage 5-1 to slow roll at level 8 in order to find your 3-star 3-cost units. For the second scenario, you are not contested, but you didn't manage to get a strong stage 3. You need to roll at level 7 in order to find at least Vex 2, Malzahar 2 and Tariq 2 to stabilize your stage 4 board. After that, you need to save your econ to get back at 50 gold. And if you didn't hit naturally a few Vex, Malzahar or Tariq, then I can suggest you to push level 8 and play Lux Carry because it will be extremely hard to find the 3-star units. If you did find some of them, then what you can do is to slow roll at level 7 and stay level 7 until you find Malzahar 3, at least. For the third scenario, you are contested on Malzahar or Vex. You still need to roll at level 7 until you have all your 3-cost units at 2 stars to stabilize your board, and then only after you can push level 8 at stage 5-1. When you reach level 8, you should also scout regularly because your contestors might drop Malzahar to play Lux as well. And if that's the case, then you wait for him to do so in order to roll for Malzahar. When you are contested, patience and observation are key to have the upper hand. You don't necessarily need to stay level 7 until you find Vex 3, Malzahar 3, Tariq 3 and Lulu 3. The most important units are Vex and Malzahar and you can push level 8 when you hit at least one of them at 3 stars. It is the first guide of 2022 and please tell me in the comments if you find it useful and put a like as well because it helps me to grow and reach even more people. For this one more tip section, I'm going to talk about a greatly underestimated item, Zizirot. Zizirot is an item that covers many weaknesses of this comp during the early game and mid game, and this item has still a great utility during late game against some matchups. Also, this item has been buffed, so it makes it even better. The main weakness of the Malzahar comp is the lack of frontline before you hit Vex 2, with at least one defensive item. Malzahar needs a lot of time to actually kill targets, and if you don't have a great frontline, then you might take nasty losses at every round and just lose the game because you're bleeding too much. Zizirot can literally carry your team from stage 2 until you find Vex 2. As for late game utility, the items helps the holder to taunt units who are in range, and when the Zizirot pops out after your unit dies, it will taunt any unit in range a second time. While it's not really useful against front-to-back team like Jhin or Challengers, it counters heavily in any assassin comp. If you put a Zizirot on Tariq next to your Malzahar, then any assassin unit who would target your Malzahar will actually target Tariq, leaving your carry safe for a while. And lastly, whenever you play the Arcanist tree, you rarely want to have any bows with you because they tend to have low utility. So if you ever drop 1 or 2 bows from the PvE, you can now think about building a Zizirot and bring extra utility and tankiness to your team. In summary, this item allows you to secure a good early game and mid game. It allows you to counter the assassins, which can be difficult to deal with, and also it allows you to use efficiently any bows you drop so you don't have any wasted items on your bench. With that being said, I hope that this guide will allow you to have a great start of 2022 and see you at the top of the ladder.
Yep.